Hey guys, welcome everybody to the Pokerus podcast, episode 0, or I guess episode 1 for week 0 technically, right? Because we haven't started the regular season. But aside from this wonky intro, just want to let you guys know that we'll be making these videos weekly. We're going to have 2 separate sections starting this season. We will have our division breakdown, so each division, any battles that go on within that division will have fully detailed breakdowns, and that'll be every week. And the weekly episode, as far as what the podcast will be, or our episodes on here, we just call it a podcast, but our episodes on here will be more kind of relaxed and aloof, just kind of more talking, just about different things in general, usually revolving around Pokemon things. So that's what this episode is going to be. I hope you guys kind of sit back and relax. It's just going to be this screen, kind of the logo screen, playing on cycles. So there's nothing visually to watch, but hopefully there is something, audibly appeasing, I guess, to hear. I hope you guys do enjoy it. And we'll kind of lead in here. The first couple minutes we had recording, there were some audio issues with some of the guys. So I kind of scrubbed and cleaned. I'm in post right now, but I'm kind of scrubbed and cleaned some of this up, and we're just going to kind of lead into the conversation as we were kind of already going. So I hope you guys enjoy.
In the barrel, or you're drafting the very first overall, where every A tier is going to be valuable to each player. Every A tier is going to be valuable to each player. So that's why I felt very comfortable coming in season 3 and pick out the scripts. It's basically the trainer. It's about 20% what you draft and 8% how you play. I think we noticed, like, we played a lot of mirror matches the last couple of weeks, this last weekend. Everybody had the same team, but the great players separated themselves from the lower players. I mean,
yeah, the great players and Chino separated themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Both of my games are so hacksy. I got like 3 moves off the entire.
Hey, that's Pokemon for you.
It is.
Sometimes it just be that way.
That's a smart strategy by Zacchaeus, though, to get all his bad luck hacks out of the way in the preseason. When the games aren't as important.
No, bro.
It's a very valid. It's a bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off, right? I like it though. I like what you're doing there.
I won't be at Disneyland this time while drafting.
Yeah, you actually get a chance to draft your team. The amount of players that were excited. I think it was like 2 guys. I can't remember which 2, and they're like, "Oh, and I'm gonna get a draft this season." I'm like, yeah, that'll help. That actually help. In building a good team. We had a guy. I knew this guy once. Who made it all the way to the finals without doing that. But yeah,
I don't need a draft. I'm good. I don't need a draft.
Yeah,
and just to touch on like the drafting spot situation too, kind of like what we talked about on your stream. Like, there's advantages and disadvantages to anywhere you pick during the draft, whether it be very first picked or the very last pick. Or the middle, because the middle has no advantage or disadvantage. So
right, it's neutral, right? The only disadvantage is that there is no advantage, right, as far as picking in the middle. So I guess we'll since he went there, we'll go ahead and touch on that topic. So Chino obviously he won Phoenix Suncurrents. There they are again at the top of the mountain, staying at the top of the mountain, right? Got nowhere else.
Preseason champion.
Got nowhere else to go, so you said might as well stay up here at the top. So what made you? I know when we were messaging, you're kind of just like you wanted to kind of mull it over, and I was like, we got to kind of, I did kind of hurry a bit. I was like, well, how did the conversation go? I was like, dude, you got 30 minutes. Let me see.
I was like, do you need to know by today, or can I get back to you?
He goes,
in a few days.
He go, where were we? Where were you at? You're like, I was like, all right, man, right as soon as you won, like a minute after, because I saw the game, right? And I think there was like 2 months left, so I got out of that, and I was trying to get ready to start messaging everybody. I was going to copy paste the messages.
I was still like popping bottles of champagne, and I already get messages from you.
The champagne hadn't even dried yet. He's over here having to worry about. So I asked Chino, I was like, all right, what slot you want? And he was like, he's like, I don't know yet, man. We need to know by today. Like, God, well, how long were you gonna take, man? And I was like,
I just wanted like a little bit of time to think about it. Like,
I was like, well, I figured he has to have already thought about it at the minute. Like, you're in the finals, you're guaranteed. Like, you're gonna worst case scenario, you're gonna be picking right after Plant, you know. But I was like, I was like, yeah, within the next 30 minutes, actually. I just straight up told him, I was like, you need to know by today. I was like, yeah, within the next 30 minutes. And then, well, I explained, I was like, I have to trickle down, right, and still get with all the other players. So, you know, if you
Dude, I'm a busy guy, man. After season 4, I got a bunch of brands,
sponsorships, Wheaties boxes.
sponsorships,
Yeah, he's
you
on
know,
Wheaties
Fuel.
boxes.
fan appearances. Like, man,
Yeah,
come on, busy guy, man.
G Fuel made their own. You know what I mean? Code Chino, code Phoenix Sunkerns, 15% off, guys. Okay, so the whole point of it was, so what? Like I said, I know it's kind of a quick. So what made you? You're just like, you. I think you literally like, all right, fuck it, just give me the red slot first
Yeah.
overall. All right, what was that about?
I think I mean, when I was going into it, I think I knew I either wanted first overall or at least somewhere in the top 3. I guess reasoning behind that, just I think it comes down to like when I was looking at the S tiers, like obviously you know there's a limited supply of S tiers, and
Who
you know,
are you
you
going for? Who are you going
you-
for?
I can't. I'm not gonna. You'll find out on draft.
Ah, dude.
You'll find out.
Spoiler alert, Gilbert. I should have freaking told you, dude. That was gonna be one of my rapid fire questions, bro. I was just gonna be hitting him with questions, and then like I was gonna be like, all right, your favorite Pokemon is, and then I was gonna ask you another question. I was gonna be like, your first overall you're taking. I was just gonna see like just without him thinking, if he just blurted it out, and be like,
If I
oh,
slip up.
inside scoop, breaking news. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I have first overall pick, so I mean, it
you're
wouldn't hurt to
safe.
tell
Yeah,
you.
you're safe. You know.
But you know, I also want to throw off people just in case, like I snipe someone, so I gotta quickly.
He literally took the words out of my mouth. I was like, the only reason you wouldn't say is if you want to be an asshole and throw everybody else off, and he literally just like flat out admits it. It's like, yeah, you know.
So we're going
I don't
to
blame you. I like the mind
fight.
games.
We're going Bidoof, right? First overall, Bidoof.
No,
No,
he's
obviously,
a band. He's a band in this one. Too strong.
Corsola, my boy.
The meme for, was that season 4? Is it
Season
4?
4.
Season 4, yeah.
Season 4, Corsola, bro. I think I have him in here. I didn't even put Cursula in, but I put Corsola in. Who was it that was so... Oh, it's Tukelish, bro, and he's not even in this season. He never answered me. Damn it. You're in memory with us, man. We got the Corsola here.
He's out because you banned Corsola, right?
That
There
might be
you
it,
go.
yeah.
No point of
He
being
literally
this-
drafted the Corsola. Like,
Oh,
shout
You
out.
have to respect it.
Yeah, shout out.
hey,
I remember we have a friend of ours, me and Gilbert, a mutual friend. You remember Juan, right? Zakai's. And
Yeah.
so he's a good friend of ours also. And this dude like stands Bidoof, bro. Like he was trying to draft Bidoof instead of B-Barrel. Like he wanted the Bidoof. But we're like, dude, just draft the B-Barrel. So he drafted it. And like he actually picked it up. And it was like in round 8. It was like early. And I literally was like, dude, if you knock me out with that Bidoof, I will forfeit the game as we play. Like he's like, all right, I'm gonna hold you to it. I was like, all right, man. But yeah, that course I would have done the same thing. I would just been like, dude, all right, you got it, man. You go.
But yeah, I think it comes down to the available S's, and yeah, I know there's a huge gap between
30 picks.
my first pick and my second pick, but then like I'll also get my second pick and third pick like back to back, which I thought would be fine because I'm guaranteed any Pokemon I want, and I'll still get 2 back to back. And like if you think about it, I'll have 3 Pokemon before anybody does. So
Ooh, wow, I like that. I like that mindset right there. I really like that mindset.
Yeah, and almost switching it around. So Zacchaeus, you had mentioned, now, ironically, as you posted, I think some of those slots that you had wanted at the time ended up getting run up. But so if you had won Zacchaeus, would you also have chosen to go at the top? But I was noticing it looked like you were hedging a little bit, or you were leaning towards wanting to be at the bottom.
Favoring the bottom 4.
Yeah, because we actually had a couple players, like I think player 3 and player 4, Ricky and Oxa, both took. Maybe it's a European thing, I don't know, but they
pick the bottom.
Yeah, they picked because obviously they're gonna get those back to backs right away, which I'm gonna assume those 4 picks are gonna be A tiers. I don't think you picked that late with them being S.
Right.
Well, see, I think the only problem with that though is like in this league right now, the way it is like there's so many mon getting taken, but I think everyone is so good that you can pick at the very front and still be okay with it in their near rounds because you know how good we set up the S and A tiers.
Right.
So that's why I don't understand. Like picking at the bottom is great, but I mean picking number 1 overall, number 2 overall, number 3 overall to get the money you want to build your team around them.
So my thought behind wanting one of the bottom 4 was effectively rather than going for a single S tier. I, in a way, can build like a little 2-mon core, whether it be offensive or defensive, like just hypothetically. for example, if I really wanted, I could go like Tapu, Lele, and Garchomp. If I, like again, assuming they're still available,
I don't think
I
Lele
can
is going to
get
be
all of those.
available.
Yeah, I think I'll come.
I don't think Lele or Garchomp will be available.
No,
I don't think so either. But the thought is, I can make a core,
Yeah.
and I can give whatever my S ends up falling to. I can pick a really strong A tier like immediately after,
Right.
and like guarantee that synergy.
That's why I was kind of mulling over the bottom as well. Like when I was in Wildcard stream talking about it. Shout out to Wildcard stream.
Shout out.
Yeah.
But
Wildcard plays, Renegade Platinum Nuzlocke. Tune in. Shout out. Shameless plug.
But yeah, like I guess it's also risky to pick over like first overall as well, because like if I, you know, for whatever reason, like feeling Corsola and I just like that's my first pick, you know, I don't get a second pick until like another 30 picks. So, you know, you have to really make sure that like if you're picking early, like you pick something that's really, really strong that
It has
you can
to
build around.
It has to set. So like I had kind of explained with Gilbert, you know, these hypotheticals. Me personally, if I was in, I would almost do as a kite. So almost a mixture of both of you guys. I would, if I wasn't drafting in the top 4, I would want to be picking in the bottom. Maybe not all the way at the bottom, like almost where, honestly, we're like almost like one slot below where Zacchaeus or Galloping Garchomps or maybe Dugtree, where those two guys are. If I couldn't pick in the top 4, I would rather pick in the bottom 4. Now, if I had to pick at the top 4, I would much rather pick earlier at that point. Like, let me kind of how, you know, where Chino's at, right? Like, let me at least guarantee get what I want and not have to. So, like Washington Walreins, now he's gonna have to think. He's gonna have 2 separate routes of like, okay, well, you know, maybe this won't get taken, but you know, maybe this does, and then obviously that trickles down. Now, Gliding Crobat has to think, well, you know, I need a kind of like 3 mons because if the other 2 are taken, like in how you're saying, right, causes this trickle down effect. But the reason I say for drafting at the bottom is all my look at all the drafts that I've had, right? I'm always drafting like not at the very bottom, but I'm drafting like second to last, third to last, you know, in that area. But I'm usually the very first one that drafts an A tier at that point, because I figure if I'm drafting that low in the first round, right? S tiers are S tiers for a reason. Now there are some that are better than others. Tragavolt, Tapu Koko, like I fully expect those to go 2 within the top 3 picks. I don't see why they wouldn't. This is my opinion though. Well, I don't know. I could be wrong. There could be something that I'm missing there. Again, I'm not the greatest at Gen 8. But I'd rather at the bottom at that point, like I know essentially I think I did last season. I picked 2 A tiers, like because think about it, nobody's gonna draft S. I wouldn't. I'd hope somebody doesn't, but you're not gonna draft an S tier in round 1 and round 2, right? Like that's a huge. Yeah, that's a huge disadvantage. You need to start grabbing your A's already at round 2. So I think I grabbed like because Keldeo was my S tier pick, and I think I grabbed it like round 4 last season. I think I went for like the Ferrothorn. Was my other team? I forgot my team already. My team of failures. No, but in seriousness, like I grabbed like Ferrothorn. I forgot who else I grabbed. It was like an A tier. Like,
I thought Pelipper was your second pick.
No, Pelipper was late. Pelipper, because I knew Pelipper wouldn't be grabbed. I grabbed Pelipper pretty late. I know that, but my whole point is like I usually draft the A tiers. You know what I mean, towards the bottom. But there's different ways to do it. I think the big change also, right, was so like even from Chino's, kind of how he's saying, and this was the other thing too, where I think like Oxa as well, right, Madrid Mankeys and Pachirisus Cups is that like, yeah, they're gonna there's gonna be 14, 15 picks before they pick, and then they'll pick back to back. Now you can say, oh, but then they also got to wait, kind of like Chino does right now. They're going to have to wait 30 picks until the next pick. But the thing is, like Madrid Mankeys, though, come round 9, 10, 11, 12, he's going to have all those values of picking back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back. And then in rounds 9 through 12, he'll be always picking third. You know what I mean? Ricky will always be picking fourth. Like, it's static once you get to the later rounds rather than Snake. It's based off of where you ranked in preseason. So I think it's a little less punishing at that point to say, hey, I want to draft at the very bottom, because come the later rounds when you're likely drafting your C tiers or the very end of your B tiers, you can, you know what I mean? You're still picking higher, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, but yeah, overall, I think with the way it is, I don't see anything that's like a major weakness. I kind of, I don't know. It'll be pretty interesting. I'm really excited though to see what gets drafted. What I mean, you guys think of there's going to be a lot of, whether you guys gear more for singles or for doubles, or there's a lot more weapons to play with in doubles as far as terrain, new weather effects, a lot new effects. I mean, new moves as well, right? Like obviously some of the new mons. I think it's going to be pretty. I don't know. I'm just giving you guys the ingredients, bro. Y'all are the ones that are going to spice it up.
I've been cooking up some stuff.
You've been cooking. Nah, yeah. If there's anybody that knows the way Zacchaeus does. Zacchaeus tends to prep really well. Actually, that leads us into our next topic, and this will also be geared for the players that maybe are new. So, quick rundown, right? This might be obviously redundant for the guys that are in here. They already know, but so you guys, the rest of you guys listening, you guys have seen, right? You'll get with your, kind of a taste on how the league runs. So you guys will get with your opponent, work out a time, a date to play, right? Thursday through Sunday. It does last on Sunday. I know I couldn't do that for the preseason. But so you guys will get with them, go to the matchmaking section, do all that good stuff, and then battle. But it's not as simple as you get with your opponent on Monday, and then you don't do anything until Friday when it's time to battle, and then battle them. There's a lot of prep that goes in. Now, that might vary by player. I know I had my own routine that I did. I know Zacchaeus builds very well. I know Gilbert does. Chino, I would assume you sound like a dude that
throw everything
he just wakes up. Yeah,
minute.
he just wakes up and just like randomly he scrolls on Pokemon damage calculator and just scrolls for a set.
All team, that's not so hard. You're like, okay, what's their hardest hitter? What can I wall it with?
Yeah, it's like, how can Amoonguss like really mess them up in this game? And that's what he does.
So I take all 12 of my Pokemon, I put it on a spinner, and then I just spin it, and then the first 6 will pop up.
He's like, yeah, he just like double checks like, okay, yeah, that qualifies with the standards of the tiers. All right, we're good to go. And then he just like goes to Pokemon damage calculator, you know what I mean, and clicks on the moveset.
Nah, I'd be taking my time too. I put in a lot of time into my prep.
So going with that, we'll circle back around into Chino. So Chino, what, not that we're expecting everybody to put as much prep as you guys do, but I think it goes without saying. I mean, you guys obviously, I know you guys are pretty smart. You guys are good at, obviously, how we talked about, right? I think this goes to your very first point, right? I'm like running over my own question here, but I'm not a professional. But the whole point is that how you mentioned that, I think all the prep that you guys put into it and trying to already, like, the battle starts before you sit down to battle them, right? Like before you click on Showdown. So the battle has already started at that point, right? It's one of those, the cliche, what's the cliche of like, what is it? Failing to plan is like planning to fail or whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Like that's essentially what you're doing. If you're just like, oh yeah, I'll just turn on my computer and just like go to battle them or whatever the hell you're battling them on. So, I think like how Chino says, like the preparation that goes into it, and then you trying to predict what they're going to do, and then you trying to predict what they're going to do to you, and kind of that cat and mouse game. And so how he's mentioning, like, when you do win, it's not because you picked a generic, like, oh, I picked this OU team that I'm battling just this person, right? The person that I don't know, right? As far as, like, I don't know anything about him. I'm just battling this random person on the ladder using the same 6, right? You just got to kind of touch base with stuff, whereas in a draft league, it's like, you're running really specific stuff, right? You're running really, and I guess my whole point that I'm trying to say is like, so when you do get that stuff right and you win, I can attest basically to what Chino's saying as far as it really is rewarding because you, especially if you do put in that time, right? It's not like you just have a team that you can go battle 10 different people with. Like each battle, for my part anyways, is different. Like as far as some of the sets you're bringing, the moves, even the spreads, right? The nature.
Oh, the spreads are so meticulous.
Yeah, so whoever wants to jump in on this question, I mean, just for whoever, like, what do you guys, or what is your routine then? Hey, people might want to know, like, okay, what are these guys that have been successful, starting, whoever wants to jump in first, like, what's your routine or what's your thought process when it comes to team building then? I guess we'll put it like that. Whoever wants to, I'm all three are going to answer, but whoever wants to go first, go ahead and tackle it.
I think I go through each player and look at their tendencies of what they brought before. And I think that's how I redetermine of how I do my team building. If it's a new player that I really don't know about, I just see his six best Pokemon against my 6 best Pokemon, and it's team build. I spend about a good hour hour for the singles, an hour for the doubles, doing calcs, doing my spreads, seeing what I'm going to bring, what sets I'm going to bring, damage, all the good stuff. I think that's how much I spent on it. Probably more or less. When I was in season 3, it was a lot more because I was playing with a little bit lesser team, so I had to be very meticulous on everything I was doing. So I think that's how I see it. Yeah, basically I spent almost an hour for singles and for doubles for each opponent I did, and so you can put that over the 3 weeks, no, 3 weeks plus playoffs. So it was quite a bit of time.
Oh yeah, easily at least 2 hours.
Yeah. It was well worth it because, like I said, this league, everybody puts in their time. I want to be respectful for each player. Because like Chino said, Chino might be playing like 2 hours, so I don't want to waste Chino's time. I want to give him a good game. Yeah. That's basically how
Maybe soon. Shout out. Maybe soon. Like Oxa said he missed having both of us in the season, and I think even what was it Yuzuka? Like I was even telling Gilbert, it's like, yeah, man, I kind of feel bad. I've had people saying like, damn, you're not going to be in. I think Chino was like, almost right. I mean, ask Gilbert. I was literally like, and I'm getting sidetracked real quick, but hey, that's what this podcast is for. It's for the tangents, bro. That's what you listen for. All right. You want the breakdowns? Like I said, we're gonna have those on separate episodes. But I told Gilbert, I was like, man, I almost feel like I'm letting these guys down, man. Like, and then the competitor in me, like, it's hard to not like battle. Like I was even telling Rails Yuzuka right earlier today. I was like, would you say Zakai said it was odd, right? Or it was something about not having me in.
Yeah, it's weird not having you in that lineup.
Yeah, and you're like, it's weird not seeing my name, right, or my team name or something like that, right? And I was like,
the only Don fan.
Only Don fans, yo. And it was like, I even told him, it's like, dude, it is odd. Like normally right now after this draw, I'd already have like a list of stuff, like, 'cause that's just the way I am. Like I would have a list of possible directions I want to go in the draft. You know what I mean? Only to ignore that list and then be like, I'm gonna but the whole point is, hey, I have a list though. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point. But it's a quick little shout out there. I did say, and I remember saying it on stream. I think it was with Oxa that had said it. I told him, I was like, look, when I come back, I ain't coming back. I ain't coming back alone.
Gilbert's coming with you.
Yeah, I ain't coming in alone. All right, I'm gonna finally bring Gilbert when I do come back. I can't say officially when that's gonna be, and I don't want to overhype it because I'm gonna show up and like half might not even make the playoffs. It'd be a dud. Just like go out with not with the bang, but with the whimper. Just kind of like, well, that was well worth it. But yeah, it's a kind of sidetrack there. But yeah, sorry. So back to how you guys were saying though about time and putting in effort.
Yeah,
right? And
at least. Oh, go ahead.
So yeah, no, I typically spend, like kind of just throughout the day at work whenever I'm slow or whatever. Like just think about, okay, what are their best 6 Pokemon against me? Like try and come up with a typical like S A A B B C team for them, and how can I deal with that if I am assuming this is the best that they can bring against me? I'm effectively doing the team building for the both of us, like trying to figure out exactly what they're gonna bring, and then I build around that. So it takes a long time. After I just pick out the teams and then run a bunch of calcs trying to find like very specific things. Well, let's say hypothetically my opponent has a Latios, and I'm gonna make sure that at least 2 of my Pokemon that I'm gonna bring, if I really expect them to bring that, can switch in on a Draco Meteor, or something can deal with the Scarf, something can deal with the Specs. Stuff like that.
yeah, I think it's crazy the ways. So Zacchaeus and I really have that in common because that's actually something I do. Right, Gilbert, like literally, I literally was on the phone with Gilbert telling him about that today. As far as like, right, like literally, Gilbert can attest to it. I literally told him like that's what's gonna be so odd about not playing this season, because even for me, like almost how Zacchaeus says, where it's like it also gives me something to think about throughout the day. Just I can kind of have that. Like for me, it helps the day get along because I'm just constantly in that competitive mode of like, all right, what's my opponent going to bring? What can I counter it with? Like, what 6 do I think they would bring? I don't know. For me, Zakai's literally hit it on the head because I usually try and think of it from their point. Like, what would I bring against my team? If I had their team, what would I bring? Right? And then it's like, this is what I would bring. And then I would look at their tendencies. Like, does the team they normally bring line up with that? And so that gives me a kind of a basis of like, what to start countering. But I think for me as well, it's more of like I don't usually have those sessions. So like with Gilbert, I can attest, like he does do that. There are many times where, there are many times where even if I'm just on, we're usually in a Discord call together, and I'll be playing something where I'm updating the league, and I can hear Gilbert in the background, like, all right, cool, yep, yeah, okay, so ice punch, oh yeah, yep, and I'll hear him like, you can tell he's done it. Cause this is literally Gilbert right over the mic. He's like, yep, all right, cool, yep, ice punch, yeah, I got it. He can't switch into that. Yep, okay, let me see if I'm banned. And he's like just talking out loud, and I'm like, damn. So I can attest, he does do those sessions where he sits down, it's like an hour straight, and then he like the next day will get on and he's building for doubles, and he's like, and he how he's saying, like, he's literally has his calculator open and he's just checking everything. And with mine, I think Zakai's is a little bit more like how I am. It's a lot more meticulous, where it's like I tend to do what's called my shell. So I do a shell like on Monday or Tuesday, as far as like what do I think I'm gonna bring and kind of what am I leaning towards. And maybe I'll have like those 6 ready, but they won't be filled. There'll be no moves, no EVs, no nature. Like it's just kind of like that's the 6 I'm thinking of bringing, and then like it gets filled out as the week goes. Like, because this guy's set might vary based off of what I bring on my other Pokemon set, right? Like this guy might have to be my rocker instead, and vice versa. But that's so just throwing that in there. I don't know why I haven't been a champion, so I'm sure you guys don't. You guys can go ahead and turn up your volume and start listening now.
We'll just cut that part out.
We'll get the editor to as a Chino. So what did you do? What did you do in our most difficult season up to date? And we'll probably be saying that for the next champion that comes in. I feel like it's getting more and more difficult. But what did you do for this upcoming season?
Tina's gonna run it back.
You don't run it back.
Obviously, nah. But no, I think prep is everything. Like I think honestly, prep might be like 50% of the battle. So I spend at least like a good like maybe 2 hours, possibly even more. But the way I prep, I like to like open 2 docks with like my Pokemon and their Pokemon, and like I like to like draw. Like I get all the sprites and put them on the Word document, and like I will like make notes like on each document. Like, well, okay, I think this guy's gonna bring this, or I don't know. I just like my notes make sense to me. It probably wouldn't make sense to any of you guys, but
no, it sounds legit.
But I mean, you guys touched on like mostly everything, and just to like put it simply, like when I team build, I try to establish like an offensive threat to any of their like defensive options or checks, and like I establish a defensive option or check to their like biggest threats. And obviously, your team isn't going to be perfect for handling everything, but you just got to do the best with what you got, which is why the draft is also really important.
But I think to put on that point, I think that's what draft is so good, because your OU battles, you have the same mons, the same everything. You're gonna run into the same Pokemon, your Blissies, your Corviknights, your Slowbros. You're gonna run into the same thing over and over. But I think that's what I like about draft is you have to think outside the box, and you have to bring the creative sets for each opponent, and I think that's what I love about it.
Yeah, you see a lot of mons that don't get used, and you have to use mons that you probably wouldn't normally use to begin with, right? Like, I think it just gives you different, like, the way I view Parasect, man, that dude now holds a special place in my heart. Like, I never would have, like, I remember when Ricky would use it in previous seasons, I'd be like, this thing's just dumb. Like, it's just like, why the hell? And then I took it from him, and he messaged me, like, as we're drafting, and he's like, dude, no, you did not just take that from me. And he was upset, and I know why now, I mean, it's a lot of fun. So I hope any of you, the newer players, anybody listening, like, I think I just crazy how Chino said, like, when he tried going back to playing ladder, it wasn't the same. Yeah, you probably wasn't the same. What would you say wasn't the same? Just more of like the accomplishment of winning, or just
it's like it's more fun. It's more fun to like adjust your team like between each battle. Like, yeah, on the ladder you're gonna bring like the same team of 6, or you might have a separate team, but it's gonna be like the same 6, the same threats. I mean, maybe like adjust a Pokemon set or 2 between each game, but you're not gonna see like on the ladder, like you're not gonna, like, especially if you're like higher up on the ladder, you're not gonna see like fun Pokemon, like things that are kind of considered lower tier, but might shine against like a particular opponent. So it gives you more of a variety, and it gives Pokemon that may not be considered like viable on the ladder like a chance to shine as well. So
So one more before we get into these rapid. What did I call it? What was I gonna rapid
fire.
rapid spin or rapid fire spin? I've got two moves in there. Rapid fire spin questions. There we go. I literally just come up with the stuff on the dot. So just
Yeah.
my branding team just keep up with that, guys.
That's
Mom,
why you're the commissioner.
You hear that, Mom? But so yeah. So last question: the psychology, though, right? Because we're all in this Discord now. Okay, so here's one that I want you like. What's your feeling? So the psychology of just I'm gonna touch on different things. You guys feel free to answer any of these questions, whatever order. The psychology, as far as like you're playing a draft league battle, this isn't almost like what Chino said. So this isn't a ladder battle where okay you lose, and all right, cool, on to the next one. You exit out of the browser. It is what it is. But the psychology of like what goes through your guys' minds when you're battling, and maybe you've got a fire set. Like I said, I'm literally just gonna be asking a bunch of different questions here. But you got a fire set, you can't wait for everybody else to see it, right? It's almost like I had, right, with that Venusaur against the Blissey. Or you've got something that you're cooking up, and it's almost like your feeling of you've copied, you've pasted, you put in the results tab, and then you just see everybody's little green lights popping up because you know, or the little phone icon, you know that they're gonna, you know, they're watching your battle, right?
Yeah.
You know, but obviously even both ways, you're like, crap, like I like, and it's not like, you know, we're all in good sport here. Nobody's like toxic or makes fun of each other. Like it's all good, but it's like also the psychology. I know for me, and I don't know if I'm the only who, it's also like, you know, I run this thing, right? I'm the commissioner, and you know, I even told, I went through this right with you, Zakai's, where I told you last season, where it's like, dude, I feel like there's this kind of added pressure on me because I don't want people to think like, man, this guy's making all the rules and he still can't even win. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of had that pressure of like, I don't know. So just what do you guys think as far as like that aspect as well, right? Where it's, and now there's even more players, right? I feel like our Discords, thank goodness, you know, like there's more and more people in it. You know, I know it's not one of those crazy Discords, but like there's more and more people in it. There's more and more people that are going to be watching our battles. Like, I don't know, just can you guys touch on that? What does that add into the games, or do you guys block that out, or you know, just maybe, like I said, I'm trying to get your guys' psychology.
I think it adds to it. Like, quite honestly, being a previous champion and just like I've known a couple of you guys for about a year now. Like we've been doing this for a while. You build this mutual respect toward a player. Like, damn, they're really good at this, or don't let them get that Pokemon. You know, you kind of want to uphold that, and you want to give other people reasons to feel that, like feel like you're a threat, and almost like kind of just mess with their head before the game even starts. You know,
Right.
Like for example, my Cosmic Power Lopunny Baton Pass set that I had to pull out against Ricky
Yeah, in the playoffs.
in the playoffs because he wiped me in the first singles match. That was something I actually had planned to save for you, but you know, I got put into that position, and not only did I really want to establish, like, you know, this is my Pokemon, but this is the crazy shit I can come up with. You got to try to even prepare for this.
Yeah, right. Like you have that, like, almost like you're saying, right, almost to assert some type of, you know, psychology for the next game, or for the dominance, or for, you know. Now, to be fair, before you even pulled out the baton pass, if you go back and watch that stream, I actually called. I said, this is a baton pass set. When you Cosmic Power the second time, I think you were even behind a sub as well. You can actually go back. This was like a turn or two before you did it. I actually said, now, would I have prepped for it? No, you know what I mean? So maybe at that point it would have been too late. Like, you saw it, it's too late. But I mean, yeah, I'll be honest, like when I think of Lopunny, how you're saying, I do associate that mon with you, just like, you know, I'll always associate Amoonguss with you know, we won't go there. We won't go there.
Dude, the Lopunny Obama Snow, though, that set was fire.
What about you, Chino? What was your impressions then last season then, right? You coming in, and what did it ever feel like knowing that, okay, this stuff gets posted, right? The results get posted.
Yeah.
You know, now you obviously had a great regular season, obviously a great postseason. So, but was there ever a time, maybe in the games you lost, was it like, dang, you know, or I don't know, just what was your psychology behind it? Or did you not worry about other people watching it, or what went through your mind?
Oh no, I definitely worried about it because obviously, like, I was new to the draft league, and it's like, well, I didn't want to be like a new player, and you know, I didn't want to like let you down, if anything. Like, oh, I recruited this player, and he's not that good. So I mean, I think there is like pressure from just doing good in front of your peers. Like who doesn't like
Right.
having an audience and performing well. Like it just adds to like the excitement. Like I don't get nearly as excited right before I play like a ladder match, right? It's
Yeah.
just points on the line. But if I win in front of my peers, like I just feel like it's more rewarding, or vice versa. Like losing, it's just like, yeah, like everybody saw that.
Yeah.
Everybody saw me get 6-0'd.
What about you, Gilbert? What is it that you because you're also right one of those fan, obviously because you go back, but you're when we put you on an episode, I think me and Zacchaeus brought you on like last season or 2 seasons ago, and they're on the comments, right? People were like, "Oh, hey, good to hear from Gilbert, or Gilbert's back, or whatever." So obviously you've garnered respect, right? From, I mean, even right, Chino knew about you, right? He knew what um season you were already the champion. So I guess almost exactly like saying, right, garnering that respect, but just going about it. So what usually goes through your mind then, right, as it gets posted, Gilbert?
That was season 3 for me. That was really season 3 for me. It was the pressure of coming back as the season 2 champion late. I had to prove to everybody, with the makeshift team that hey, I can still win. Um, you know, yes,
Oh,
I
I
guess.
feel that right now.
Yeah, I guess the best of us, like I can still beat them. Like I think my first week was against the Kais. I think in you or Ricky, like it was a tough first week, and I had to prove to everybody like I am the season 2 champion. Like I had to garner the respect of my peers to show them, why, you know, I'm the person that a lot of times they like, hey Gilbert, help me out on this video, like when you say, "Hey, Gilbert, help me out the tier list," like people have to realize and understand that I know what I'm talking about. I know, so I can show them what I'm talking about. Because for the longest time, yeah, it was like that. Like I had to prove to everybody, I come from season 1. Me and you are from season 1, so it was a little bit different at that point. But yeah, I think that's how I feel. Like it was
Yeah,
tough. It was tough
and you
season.
brought up a really good point. Like being a commissioner, being in these videos, you really want people to like at least get the illusion that you know what you're talking about. Like
Mhm.
I feel like we all do, but
That's me in life in general, right?
Mhm.
No, I mean, but that is a great point. Like, so maybe that's, I don't think, I think Chino already nailed it on the head anyways also, but like, with you becoming a champion, let's say, you, Chino, like, we do want to have you on here more, right? You are somebody that we do want to um, kind of consult things with as well, right? Like you're somebody, because you have already won, you have already. It's not like if you're gonna tell us an idea, it's not gonna come out of like salt of like, man, this shouldn't be here, this shouldn't. You're gonna maybe have an idea or two, or at least having you on here, right? Like you've won, so people. I wonder. Is what I'm trying to say is like maybe. Do you? I guess for Cheeto then, do you still think you're gonna have that this season? You've already won, right? You're the champion. But do you still feel with us having, I think it was what, 9 new players or something like that, an insane amount? Do you feel still like? Do you think you're still gonna get those butterflies when you're posting the game, or you're getting ready? Like hell, maybe even a draft. Like, just I know even for me, when I go to draft my team, I'm like, I want to almost show like almost, and Gilbert can attest to this. I can, especially when I'm competitive, I can be little little smug, you know what I mean? A little like I have this, but you have to, right? When you're competitive, like this little like watch this, like yo, check this out, fun story again, tangent. So Gilbert and I, we used to play basketball a lot. Keyword used to, right? But we used to play basketball a lot, right? All us and all our friends. And I remember one time we were just shooting around, right? Warming up, shooting around. And Gilbert knows the story well. And I go to shoot the ball. And Gilbert, like, cause Gilbert's pretty, I'm like 5'11" on a good day, on a great day, And Gilbert, how tall are you, Gilbert? You're like 6'2", 6'3". Right? Gilbert, he's a big boy.
6'1", 6'1", 6'1".
Okay, that's a
Being
very
modest.
compressed. Yeah, that's okay. Let me make the story good. Okay, he's like 6'8". No, not really. But so I go to shoot the ball, and he kind of like just turns around. We're just talking, shit, whatever, and he like blocks my shot away. And for the longest time, he'd been trying it because I'm real shifty, right? I'm pretty quick. And I kid you not, Gilbert blocks my shot, and the ball kind of goes near me, and I like take one step over. I grab the ball, and I just look. I don't even look at the net. I don't look at anything. I literally look at Gilbert. I was kind of annoyed, and I was like, block this thing. Because Gilbert's were going to, like, joke around with me, like, you know, I have blocked it. And I looked at him, I was like, block this one. And I, like, shot it. Didn't even look at the basket. I just stared at his eyes and his soul, and I just drained it. Like, Gilbert just walked off the court. He's like, man, why you got to be like that, man? Why you got to... But that's just the way I am. I'm real, like, competitive. Like, you should have heard me when we were playing that singles or our championship match, and I got that blissy. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, get that!" Like I don't. I just talk so much, and then I'm like deflated afterwards. I'm like, man, I still couldn't do it. You know, I still couldn't. You know? But I have that competitive. But even on anything, like it's like, oh, I'm gonna draft my team. Like I'm gonna draft it with confidence, and I can't wait to post it. And it's like, yeah, you guys like take the look at what I'm like rubbing your like. This is what you guys are gonna have to deal with. You know that meme where you're pointing at yourself in the mirror, like, why are you like this? That's me. Like, you guys are gonna have to deal with this team all season. You know, like, I don't know. So my long-winded question, I guess, was, so like, do you maybe feel that like, because you're picking first overall now, man. So everybody's already you're already the champ. So everybody's already looking at you, right? You're picking first overall, so everybody's gonna be waiting on you in the draft anyways. Like, do you feel kind of how you're saying about the respect of that? So do you still feel you're going to feel that this season? Do you feel less because, well, you've already won. You're already a champion. Like, you've already, you know what I mean? You've already done it. Or I don't know. What do you think your feelings are going to be going into this season then?
So going into season 4, like obviously the feeling was like, okay, I need to prove myself, right? And I felt like, you know, obviously, you know, your boy, but this season, you know, I feel like there's still like that level of something to prove because like obviously I won last season, but you know we have all these new guys in here, and like, you know, I don't want to be like, you know, the weak champion. You know, it's like, oh, like, you know, you guys, this guy won last season, like he you know, we're rolling him in, like in season 5, you know. So you know, there is a like definitely a level of like nervousness, you know. Like I said, I'm not trying to like be like, oh yeah, I don't get nervous before games. Like no, I definitely feel the nerves, but you know, and for this season, I feel like, you know, with all these new people, like there's still like, you know, something to prove, you know.
Yeah, because you know you're the season champion, you have to carry that. I bet Zacchaeus felt it. You know, when he won season 3, you go in season 4, you carry that.
Yeah, not even making playoffs season 4 was rough, dude.
I understand that was. I'm so sorry, Zacchaeus.
That was
It was rough. And like everything that like could have gone wrong went wrong. It was like this perfect fucking storm that made me not take it.
I was like, dude, even me and Chino were looking at it. I was like, dude, I have to win like 3 out of 4 games. Chino had to at least win, or me and Madrid Makers, right? Me and Oxa. I was like, I got to win 3 out of 4 games. And then we still had it, you know, even for both of us. And then I was like, and then Chino has to like really beat them bad.
So I didn't like, you know, I'm not going to be a pushover. Like, obviously, you know, I was like a shoo-in for at least, you know, 2nd seed or 1st seed, but you know, I still, you know, I still want to try like week to week. Like, I'm not gonna like not try. Like kind of what Gilbert said is like I want to give like everybody a respectable battle. And like I was telling Zacchaeus before the game, I was like, yeah, man, like, you know, you're right on the cusp. Like, you know, you're definitely probably gonna at least squeak into playoffs. But then I go and I think I had a +10 differential after that game, and then I also had a. And then I had like a +10 differential against, I want to say it was Viaz or Vio.
Yeah.
And I think that like single-handedly just nudged them right out of the playoff
Both
race.
of them. Yeah, you bumped both. I needed at least one of those results. By you doing both, not only did I sneak in, but you beat them so bad that it bumped me up to the 5 seed. Like, I was still a good spot in.
Which was definitely not my intention. Like I said, you know, I'm going to try. I'm not going to, you know, be a pushover.
Go ahead, guys.
No, it's all good. It sucked, but
he says that because he acts like it's all good. You know, hopefully we meet again. That's what he's saying. That's what he sounds like. No, but it's serious. Is I told, you know, I mentioned this right when we recorded with Zacchaeus right after the finals, where I was like, yeah, you know, and then seeing the way the bracket was gonna unfold, and like really going for Oxa, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go for him again against Chino because I know I can't beat this when you guys played in the semis. And yeah, once I looked at the way the bracket would likely fill out, I was like, dude, I'm kind of gonna be screwed either way. Like, cause I was more excited, like, I don't even have to play him until the semis. Like I said, you didn't ask Gilbert what Gilbert's like week 3, and Gilbert was like, that Pokemite dude seems like at the time he had the best record. He was ahead of you by like 1 point, Chino. he's like, yeah, that guy seems like the guy to beat and this and that. And at the time, you know, and I already told the story, but I told Gilbert, I said, no, I said, what nobody knows is I actually played him before the season started. We scrimmaged and he beat me, even in doubles. He's actually the only person that beat me in doubles. But it was a scrimmage. And I had saved both of those replays, and I had noticed that he literally everything he brought against me in the scrimmages, down to the item, down to the moves, he used all season. And so, if you remember, right, Gilbert, I told him, like, it was like week 3. I was like, so if I can somehow make the playoffs and I play him, that's how I'm gonna be comfortable. But I literally brought up at that time, I said, the dude I don't want to play is that Chino guy. And Gilbert was like, which one's that one again? I was like, he's the one that's on that top division. He's in there with Zacchaeus. Like, I literally pointed you out. Like, that was the one thing right, Gilbert. Like, I literally wanted to avoid that battle, and it's still almost. That would have been ironic though.
Back then. I'm just playing.
It would have been ironic though had I beat you, because I was only there because
Yep.
you essentially put me there. It's just pretty great.
It was almost my downfall.
You know. So, but yeah, you know, we'll go ahead and move on to these questions then. Gilbert, you ready to ask these guys some questions?
Chino, your favorite Pokemon game of all time?
Platinum.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, so we're me and Gilbert, we're just gonna be alternate. We're just gonna switch. So Gilbert will ask one, then I'll ask you. Okay, so Zacchaeus, what's your favorite Pokemon of all time?
Bruh.
Who is it, man?
Tyranitar or Gengar.
Gengar? Okay, let me ask Chino one now this time. Chino, who do you think is since you likely would have drafted, who do you think is the best A tier in this season? Just off the top of your head, what do you think the best A tier is? Yeah.
From
memory, I think Melmetal is kind of low for an A tier.
That's exactly what I said. That's what I said. Exact same thing, bro. Melmetal. That double.
Look, I'm gonna say this, yo. When y'all are so high on the mountain that y'all don't know what us normal people see. All right, we got different visions and stuff. All right, y'all stuff is. All right, Gilbert, ask Zacchaeus one. Get his Zacchaeus one.
Zacchaeus, did you ever play TCG and BGC, or are you only been a BGC player? You know, only the video game, or did you dabble in the trading card game at all?
I've done it all. I've played VGC. I've played the TCG. I've done like Smogon battling for 10, 12 years now.
Okay, I'm gonna add on to that question. I'm gonna add something here. I'm gonna add on to that question for you, Zacchaeus. Besides Draft League, because we know it's goated, right? Besides the Draft League, what is your favorite Smogon format? Like specifically, right? Like let's say BSPOU or Gen 8 UU or whatever the hell. What is your favorite all-time format?
I would have to say Gen 5 OU, because that was primarily when I like actually really got into it and like played with my DS.
Okay, I like it. Same. I'm almost the same story. Gilbert, give Chino one.
Chino, out of all the gimmicks we've had, we have Mega Evolution, Z Crystals, Dynamaxing. What has been your favorite one so far?
Definitely Mega Evolution. I'm really not a fan of the other ones after that.
I'm gonna add on there. What do you think of terastallizing?
Bro, I have no comment on that. I guess we'll just have to see what it's like when it gets here.
Are you skeptical about it, or you're not? You sound skeptical.
That's the one where they get like additional typing, right?
No, they only turn into that type. It's not additional. It's a solo typing.
Well, obviously, I don't really know the concept of it, but
yeah, I think that says it all right.
It could be interesting.
Okay.
Turning Tyranitar into a ghost type sounds appealing.
Yeah, well, that's what they showed in the trailer, right? In the video was Tyranitar.
Yeah.
It was against a Gallade, and he terastallized into a pure ghost type. Gallade couldn't hit him with close combat on that turn, and then Tyranitar used that move that's essentially hidden power, but it's based off of whatever so he hit him with the ghost type move, right? Knocked out the Gallade. Be very interesting to see how that works. We're actually really, I think it's called terastallized. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask.
All
right, Zacchaeus. Best Pokemon remake.
Actually, Fire Red Leaf Green.
Bro, I know. I told Gilbert that. All right, Gilbert, give Chino one.
Let's go, Eevee.
So, what's been your thoughts on the draft league, Chino? What's been your favorite one to use right now in the draft league that you used last season? Besides the Mogus,
Oh my god.
My favorite Pokemon last season,
Yeah, they caught you off guard that you wouldn't expect to be using, but you loved using them.
my boy Lavaka.
Oh, the
Okay.
milk tank.
Miltank. Miltank put in
Okay.
The
so
amount of
much work
love I
for
gave
me.
that thing when I would commentate on the games. I was like, dude, this
It's
thing's crazy.
fast. It gets stealth rock, thick fat, has crazy like
And it's the
coverage.
best move of all time. Milk
Bro,
drink.
I have PTSD.
Whitney's milk tank. That's what players probably saw. They were like, "This Whitney's milk tank" is what they saw. The run ender. All right, Gilbert, gives the Kai switch so I can ask Cheeto some questions.
Zakiah, so you've been in here 3 seasons now. Who's been your toughest opponent to play against?
And why is it wild card? No, not really. But who's your
I'm
toughest opponent?
sorry, it's Gino, dude.
Gino? Okay. Yeah,
We were in the same division though, so that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, no, my team had such a bad matchup against yours, and it was just so hard.
Okay. Well,
Okay, Cheeto, favorite Pokemon type, just in general. What's your favorite just type?
I want to say.
Dragons.
I feel like that's like the cringe answer. No, I'm just playing. I think ghost typing is pretty cool.
Really, ghost type. Who do we have? I think it's Verse, the Litwick's T, which makes sense. I mean, when I asked him, I was like, man, who do you want to bring in here? This dude listed like 10 ghost types. He's like, I could keep going, but I don't know if you want to add that many ghost types. It turns out like in Gen 8, that ghost typing is actually like really strong, you know, especially like with Poltergeist.
I'm excited to see his draft then.
Yeah.
He's going to have Gengar, Haunter, and Ghastly.
Chandelier. Everybody's gonna... All right, Gilbert, gives the guy this one.
All right, Zakiah's favorite move of all time. Pokemon move.
Favorite move?
Yeah, Pokemon move of all time.
Ooh. I gotta go with like U-turn Volt Switch and the equivalents.
Ooh, the competitive answer.
Yeah, so he went the momentums. Okay, Chino, best Pokemon movie.
Bro, Pokemon 2000.
Oh,
Not even nothing
Low.
close touches it.
Oh, bro,
Really?
I
You
had
think
it
it's
on-
better than the original one, bro? The Power of
Yes.
Friendship?
No,
Pikachu
Bro.
crying doesn't do it for you?
no.
Wait, isn't that?
I mean, they're
That's
both good.
movie.
I think the first 3 are the best ones.
No, yeah. You can make an argument for any of the first 3. I did have Mewtwo Strikes Back on VHS. So,
Same, bro. Dude, I
Dude,
think I had my mom still has it, dude. Oh my gosh. I even had the little promo that it came with, the little Mewtwo card. I can tell you the moves. It's like energy absorption and Cyburn for 40 damage, bro. Like, I don't know. I'm really nerdy about that. Okay, I'll extend it to you then, Sakai. What's yours?
The 2000 is just too good. Mewtwo Strikes Back is great, especially for Meowth's quote. That shit like carried me through life.
Which one?
Meowth's
Meowth-
famous quote.
Yeah, when Meowth was saying like it doesn't matter where you came from, we both live under the same earth,
Oh,
same
I
sky.
guess, so I guess we're not that different after all, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I actually used Meowth's quote as part of like the beginning of one of my college like speech classes where I had to give a speech.
And they thought you were talking about like the Civil War or some shit about racism.
Yeah, and that
or something.
shit hit. Like people like they're like, damn, this guy is so wise.
He's deep.
Little did he know I got it from Pokemon. So
And they took it out of the fucking Netflix remake. Oh my god, dude.
Oh, the
That means
the one that looks like claymation or whatever it is. No,
I
Yeah.
didn't get around to watching that one yet.
Don't. It's horrible.
there's
Watch
no
the
Meowth
original.
quote. All right.
Noted.
Okay. Did y'all watch the anime? And what was your favorite part of the anime? Let me ask you that one.
Ooh.
Is this for me or Zacchaeus?
Both of y'all.
Oh.
'Cause, yeah, I mean,
Favorite part of the anime was how many times Brock got rejected. You know, but it really teaches you like something about like just being consistent. You know, I feel like there's a message in that.
It just if she rejects you, just keep stalking her.
Yeah, you know, you miss all the you miss all the shots you don't take.
100% of the shots you don't take. Yeah, Wayne
I
Gretzky,
think
Michael
that-
Scott.
The end of the Indigo Plateau, where they at first like teased Blaziken.
oh,
That
bro versus
made me so
Charizard,
excited, dude.
bro versus bro. That was
Damn, I feel bad. I gave a funny answer. Zacchaeus gave like a genuine, awesome answer.
I would say, not that anybody's asking for mine. I would probably say when the Aerodactyl, right, is when basically Charmeleon first transforms into Charizard.
Oh yeah,
Because
hype.
I hadn't seen that episode, and I remember being at Blockbuster. Shout out Blockbuster. I know a lot of these people that are under 20. They're like, "What the hell is a Blockbuster?" Right? Don't worry about it. Okay, it was the place to be at on Friday. But anyways, it was at Blockbuster, and they would show like. They would in the corner. They would have the TVs, and it was essentially stuff to try and get you to rent stuff. Like, who the hell falls for that? And I saw that. And I remember telling my dad, like, Dad, we need to go to the anime section, the cartoon section, and I need the episode of that one. It was like 50 something. I don't know what the hell it was. And I saw that episode on VHS. But yeah, I'll always rank that one on there. Like, I was like, dude, like it turned into a Charizard. So before we end it, we'll let you guys just think of anything real quick. Do the same thing. You guys can fire at me or Gilbert and ask us any Pokemon theme or related question. Anything you want to know? What you guys got?
Go ahead, Zacchaeus.
Okay.
If you had to pick an underrated B tier, who do you think people should go after this season?
Nidoking. If you're Nidoking, is a B tier.
Faster. No, Nidoking C tier.
Is he C tier?
Let me look at my tiers. Let me look at my tiers. Hold on. B tier. That's people should an underrated. So you want me to pick one that's under the radar then? That I guess would be underrated.
No, I just think. What do you think is the best? Who should people be
best
going
one.
after?
Best B tier.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of good ones. Okay, I'll answer both. The made up question I made. Underrated, I think, would be the Weezings because I found out the ability to turn off abilities such as Regenerator, all that good stuff is going to be broken.
Thank you.
And as far as what I would pick, I think any of the Bro Twins, Slow King, any of the slow, just the Regenerator itself, teleport, having the teleport mechanics of Gen 8. Yeah, I think that's going to be really strong.
I think for me is if you want an underrated sweeper.
Hey, he said wild card. No, not really.
No,
Sorry.
I think Sharpedo. I think I use Sharpedo season 3. I think he's an underrated sweeper. Can catch people off guard with his ability. But I also think Ditto. Don't sleep on Ditto. I think Ditto's gonna be underrated B tier. That he's gonna be coming out from the woodworks.
Yeah, let me break down real quick why I think Ditto could. We'll elaborate on that one. The ability to copy your opponent's S tier and essentially you're battling with 2 S tiers now is really great. Plus the fact that you can run just Limber Ditto instead of Imposter and doubles and actually transform your own Mon and get those boosts as well is really strong. I mean, you can even just transform your own S tier. Now have 2 S tiers. Let's say your S tier is Blaziken and it's already had these speed boosts and it's had this whatever. I mean, you can send out Ditto, copy the Blaziken and it gets all the boost itself. Or the fact that you can run it with Imposter and literally just get intel because you're gonna know their moveset immediately once it turns into Imposter. So
another one be really good is like your Indeedee, the one for the Psychic Train, your Indeedee. Who's the other one? The electric type.
I'm not good with names, but yeah, the Pimp, whatever the hell. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That was close.
I think if you don't go in the Cocos, I think you go for one of them to also have Train Battle because Train I think would be so valuable in this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Chino,
All
what
right.
you got? Who's it for?
Okay, for both of you.
Okay.
If you guys had to eat a Pokemon, which Pokemon would it be and why?
Carnivore, if you know what I mean.
Dude, come on, bro. Come on. He means Jinx is what he's saying.
Oh man, I was looking for like vanilla,
Yeah. Execute, bro. You got to get that protein in.
True.
That's a good question.
You're making me want to jump in on this one.
Go ahead, Zacchaeus.
Call Zacchaeus.
Yeah, Amoonguss because of what he did to me last season and because I feel like you'd have a good time if you ate those shrooms.
Fair point.
Like Jellicent? Octopus is great.
I did not expect that answer.
Is it an octopus? I thought it was like a jellyfish. It's an octopus.
No, it's a jellyfish. I don't know why I said octopus.
There's Octillery.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Octillery.
There you go.
Octillery.
Yeah.
Shut up. What would you eat? What would you eat?
Bro, I'm trying to get on some Tauros, some Mamoswine.
I thought you were saying milk take, bro. I was like, get yourself a burger.
I couldn't bring myself.
And Milky, he's like, I'd eat some cereal with that thing, But I like how Gilbert went straight for the
True.
Gardevoir, though. He went for the waifu.
In my head, I was like, they're probably not gonna go there.
Oh, but now you know us. Oh, but now you know.
No, I know.
All right, so guys, get us with one.
Um, who out of the new players do you think has the best chance to take it? Both of you.
I think the plant guy. I think he brought
Plant guy.
The plant guy? Oh, I heard. Okay, cool. I was like, I may have to. Okay, Piranha Plant.
Yeah, Piranha Plant. I think Piranha Plant. He gave a pretty good battle. You know, he's pretty beginning, but he's showing signs he can be a very good player. I think if he hones his craft, I think if he plays smart, you know, learns the system, learns how to battle properly, he'd be very good. He really shows it.
So new players. Let me look at our roster here. I think. Yeah, I probably would have said Plant also because I mean he already made the semis. I mean the finals rather. I'm sorry. But if I had to choose somebody else, then that Slush guy seems pretty good. Which team is he? I'm trying to get used to all the teams again. The how do you say that? How do you say that Pokemon's name? Like I said, I was hoping, dude. I was like, when I saw his name, I was like, God, I hope him and Zacchaeus aren't put in the same division because that's gonna be confusing as hell. Not only are they in the same division, but their slot happened to be right next to each other.
They're literally right next to each other.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh. Okay, side note: is it Rayquaza or Rayquaza? Raikou or Raikou?
It is Ray. Again, it is.
Raikou, right?
It's Raikou.
Raikou and Rayquaza.
Are you asking how we say it, or how
I
it
agree
should
with
be
that.
said? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. How do people? How do you?
How did I pronounce it as a kid? It was Raikou. Right. What did we just say? Raikou? Raikou? I say I think I still say Raikou. I say Raikou. Is that the correct way? What do we say?
I think it's correct.
Okay, I say Raikou and then I say Rayquaza now because that's proper, but I don't know who in their right mind, or none of my kids, or none of my friends rather, but my friends weren't very smart. We all said Rayquaza, not what? No, Rayquaza. How is it? Now I'm confusing myself.
People
It's
say
Rayquaza,
I
right?
used to say
It's
Rayquaza.
but
Yeah, that's what I used to say.
What's the proper Rayquaza?
Shit, if I know.
Because like Arceus, I still say Arceus, but obviously with the game coming out, right? It's Arceus.
I've never heard anybody call it that.
Arceus or Arceus?
Arceus.
Arceus. I think this game that came out.
It's always been Arceus to me.
Is it really?
I just heard everyone always say Arceus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I mean.
I think they were just kids and wanted to say arse.
Yeah, you know.
But it rolls off the tongue better.
It does, dude. All right, Chino, give us one.
All right. Who is or who do you consider the best champion?
In the Pokemon games? Myself,
Yeah.
season 1. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, the games? The games. Okay.
No, Pokemon games. Pokemon games. Obviously, it's me, but you know, Pokemon games.
Hey, bro, you haven't played against me. Remember this. You beat everybody else, but you haven't beat me.
In the video games,
season 6.
Right. Spoiler alert. No, but I think for me, I think specifically, yeah, Cynthia. Believe it or not, from BDSP. I think the BDSP Cynthia was actually, as far as fun, like in the battle being good. I think the Cynthia from I think the only thing to me that BDSP actually did correctly, as far as any type of difficulty spike, was the Cynthia battle in BDSP. Now I know I'm probably alone there, but that's what I mean.
What was the power friendship?
The power, yeah, dude. Like I needed my Garchomp to not faint because it didn't want me to be unhappy or it didn't want to make me sad or whatever the hell. I legit would not have beat her had my Garchomp not survived on 1 HP through the power of friendship. What about you, Gilbert? Who's the best champion?
It has to be Cynthia. I think there's been no champion that's ever given me a problem but Cynthia when I was a kid. I mean, yeah, Blue was easy. I mean, Lance was easy. Steven
was hard, like a little bit, but Cynthia was over the top, like especially as a kid.
Yeah, I think I forget Gen 5. I mean, Gen 5 was just trash.
Who had the most drip though? That's the real question.
Guzman, my boy Guzman, my boy Guzman. my boy Guzman had the most drip.
That's fair.
I think I would say Okay, let me counter real quick with who has the best champions theme as far as the song? Who do y'all think? Whose song smacks the hardest?
Steven.
I was gonna say, I feel like when I play Smash Ultimate, that's the one that I put on, or Cynthia's, either Cynthia or Steven. That's the one that I put on the most.
I think Deonta has a underrated one. I really like hers. I like the whole. I like hers a lot. I think she's also an underrated champion.
Ooh, yeah. No, I'm remembering the theme now. Yeah, it does go pretty hard.
Hers is pretty dope. The one from Sun and Moon isn't too bad because it's almost a remix of like the original. It's got like you could tell they've got elements of like the Kanto games in there, which is always a good callback. But I think Deonta. I like Cynthia's as a whole. Like even just the prelude of when you're walking into her Champions Hall and just like the piano itself is playing. I think that's so dope. But I still gonna say though my overall favorite though is still Lance's because that's the same song that comes out when you play Red, and I would never forget as a kid walking up and battling Red like that. Literally, with me being 30. Spoiler alert, guys. Sorry, I'm 30 years old, so I.
Give him the walker. Give him the walker. Give him the walker.
Back in my day when there were 151 Pokemon. No, but I like so being a kid, right, and going through and experiencing a lot of Pokemon without the internet. So the shock of this, 11-year-old boy or whatever when you walk up and you battle yourself. I mean, it was just, and then that theme song plays. Like I will always. Like I almost get chills, real talk. Like when I hear that theme song, just because I don't even associate that theme song with Lance. I always associate it with Red, like, And then when they remade it in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, that's actually one of the few times where they've remade a track, and it sounds better. Now I will give Oras that. I think all the Oras tracks sound better than the original Ruby and Sapphire. Like the way they cleaned it up, and really like Oras. Oh, wait, the other thing too, best rival song. What do you guys think is the best rival song out of all the rivals?
Oh, I don't even pay enough attention to those. I don't know.
Silver.
Rivals. I don't think there's. Man, I can't even think of like the rivals. Like that's how important and unimportant they are.
Well, Blue has a dope one, right? Because that's technically his champion's team. Like when you battle him as the champion, that one's always dope. Yeah. But I like when you. I don't even know what they qualify as your rival. Because I know technically Wally's your rival in Generation 3. But the song that comes out when you battle Brendan or May. Because that's the one that plays in Showdown sometimes. Because Showdown has like a song from each generation. It comes out in Showdown, and that one smack. Like I will listen to that, bro. That one just smack. Like there are times I only click my move because I'm just jamming out to that song. Like you'll know which one it is because you'll hear the trumpets, right? That's what Hoen's known for. Like you'll hear the trumpets playing. But like, man, that thing goes.
So let me ask you this, Chino and Zakai, did I play Pokemon Stadium, the original one?
Yeah. Yes.
What did I play? Battle Revolutions, the Wii.
No.
Oh, Mike. In them off the call.
Y'all are missing out, man. Y'all are missing out. Okay, let me ask you guys this one then. Did you guys what's in y'all's opinion? What's the best spin-off game? Out of the Pokemon Stadiums, Coliseum, XD, Ranger, Dungeon, whatever the hell you want to think of, Pokemon Snap, whatever the hell. What's your favorite? What do you think is the best? Or what do you think is the best? And does that coincide with your favorite? Are they different, or do you think that is, or what do y'all think? Whoever wants.
I gotta say, Gale of Darkness. It just holds a very special place in my heart, and it is my favorite.
Is it because of species XD001? Is that what the Lugia is? The Shadow Lugia 001?
Yeah,
I have the game I'm looking at it right now. I have it right next to me. What about you, Chino?
Bro, Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy.
On the Game Boy? Dude, I played that one. That one in Puzzle League, dude, was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
It's underrated. No one's playing. But that one and definitely Pokemon Coliseum. I put a lot of time into that one.
Dude, the ability to like steal your opponent's like I don't know, and you're playing as like the evil team. Yeah, you're playing as a guy and he's reforming his ways.
Hit a lick on your opponent real quick.
Dude. Like you knew the game was different when like you see them kidnapping this girl. Like she's in a body bag and shit. They're kidnapping her. You're like, whoa, this game's different. Like,
hey, that's a nice looking shadow Pokemon you got there.
Right.
It'd be a shame, if.
Jacket. Yeah. But it was so cool. Did you start out with the Umbreon and the S? I don't know, dude. I think those games.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So cool. Yeah, I think it was like ahead of its time. I think as far as like bringing it to the 3D space like that far back in on the GameCube. You know, what about you, Gilbert? What do you think the best spinoff is?
When I was a bonus spin-off was Pokemon Rangers. I love that when I was a kid, Pokemon Rangers, but it's Pokemon Revolutions. I think Pokemon Revolutions was, I think, because our old draft battles on there, our old memories on there, just seals it. And
Yeah,
then
so quick tangent real quick. Sorry. So quick tangent on why Gilbert loves us. So our prelude to the draft league, right? We never, like, I didn't know about draft leagues at the time. I think this was like what, Gilbert, 2014ish or so. So this is even when like draft leagues were barely even becoming a thing amongst the youth. I think the earliest draft league I can find is like 2016, I think, or 20, I don't know. But anyways, so we would just call it what's called a season, right? That, like, it was just called our season. And so I had the action replay. I had the old action replay for the Nintendo DS, and this was we played all the Generation 4 games, right? Because you know how they all interconnected, right? Like Pearl can connect with Heart Gold, right? So all the Generation 4, right? Pearl, Diamond, Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver could all trade and battle with each other, excluding the Rotom forms and Sky Shaman. Other than that, they all intertwined and connected. Well, Battle Revolution, right, was all the Gen 4 games. You would connect your DS wirelessly and this and that. So we used to do it was 6 of us. It was a couple of my brothers, some friends, Gilbert in there. And so our season was, we would actually do a draft and everything. And so, like, let's say it was us 4 doing it, right? And let's say Chino drafts Dragonite and I draft Garchomp and so on and so forth. Well, I would, with the action replay, I would hack a Dratini egg for Chino, and he would have. So basically, we would all start our journey, right? We would all start at our base town, our first town, and it was basically every weekend we would all meet up and battle. And so, like, the first weekend, everybody would battle on level 10, and so you couldn't train your Pokemon past level 10. And then the second quote unquote tournament would be at level 20. So the following week, and you could only use what you found up to that point. So like your Pokemon would maybe have Water Pulse, and then remember, like, the TMs weren't infinite how they are now, and so it was like, right. It was basically you were growing. You're like, everybody was kind of going on this adventure, and everybody had to stop and be capped at a certain level, and like that's what we did back then. Well, we used to battle each other, right, in the what is it, the Union Room or whatever the hell. But we would have a featured game because we were all like in a shed. You had to be together. We were all in this shed in the back of my grandparents' house, like this little extra. This was a storage house essentially, and we would have like our own little 32-inch TV there, and we would have my Nintendo Wii hooked up. Actually, I still have it right here next to me. And so whoever was the main game would play on Battle Revolution in the beautiful 3D graphics. Like, that game actually holds up really well, even compared to now. Like, that game is really, really, like, the animations on that game are actually better than Sword and Shield. And so, like, I can attest to why, like, that game is like it's just more of that, man. But it was always such a cool idea, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of pat myself on the back for coming up with that one. That one was always cool. Like, the player that drafted Magikarp, for example, was screwed the first tournament, but then come the second tournament, they already had a fucking Gyarados because it was right at level 20, And so that was always cool, though. Like, just
that's a really dope concept.
Yeah, and so that was always cool. If it didn't fizzle out, so most of the times it fizzles out by like the 4th one, or like this guy didn't train his Pokemon. But if we ever got to like all the way to level 50 or 60 when people finally had the final forms, then it really. But sometimes we'd fizzle out and restart. But yeah, we could only do that with the action replay, right? Because you had to, I had to, like, hey, you're gonna start the journey with these little, essentially what your team is, the base form, and then you just travel with them, and like the winner would receive, so like if you won the first tournament, you would get to choose between, like, you want Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, like you would get a TM, right, one of those really good TMs in your journey. And so we would put that in your game, and then so now you know what I mean. You have an extra Ice Beam because you only got one essentially unless you went to the game corner.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of the things we did. I actually still have the Heart Gold and Platinum from when we did those runs. I have that right here next to me as well. But yeah, I can definitely attest to that. So
those were the golden days. Those were
that was a lot of fun. And then we were in person battling, you know what I mean? So, rubbing in their face, like being right there,
Bro, it was. We did that, and then we did TCG, bro. The TCG series that we did was so fun. We used to go like out of town, go play in tournaments. That was so fun too.
Yeah, we would actually go play. Yeah, we've had some battles and stuff together. It has been a lot of fun. But is there anything else you guys want to touch on or talk about? We'll have you guys here. If not, we can.
One last question.
Okay, go ahead.
Just draw it back to the league. So, whose logo are you most excited to see, or who will have the most fire logo based on like their team name?
Zacchaeus, are you making one? Are you gonna make one, Zacchaeus? You are, right?
Gonna try.
Yours sounded cool. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I mean, I still think so far. I think Chino's just the fact. Obviously, it's a play off of the Phoenix Suns logo, but it's the sunker in there. Like I thought that was so like. This is gonna sound bad, so I'm taking it wrong. It seems so lazy, but so creative. Like it's
really
so fire.
is.
Like I don't know. No, like not late. It just seemed like such a simple change, but it like fits so well. Like, even the team name itself, but like it fits like the sunker and the shape of it. Like it just fits too well because it's crazy. Your logo is literally playing off of what your team name is playing off of to begin with. Like that's why to me, like I get that humor. It fits all too well because right, the team name that you're kind of spoofing off of is right the Phoenix Suns, and yet your logo is also spoofing off of that. Like it's almost like when I think of like when A Drive did his, right, and it was like the Minnesota Vikavolt. Well, that logo is based off of the Minnesota Vikings, but he put Vikavolt. Like those, I like those, right? And that's what most of the draft league stuff, right, are they're more of like the Chicago Cub shoes, like those types of things. I really like those. I don't even know what the word would be for it, but like those euphemisms of them. Shout out, big word. You know, like I think those are so cool. So I don't know. So that's what I think so far. I like it because it fits with technically how the old school draft league logos and stuff look. So I think that one's cool. I don't know. I've seen some other ones. I can't remember who all has one. That's the issue. Like I still need to see who all's gonna make one.
I really want to see Doug Trio Mama's logo. What that's gonna be.
I hope he makes one, dude. I think that'd be great, bro. It's gonna be that one with I don't even know, dude. I don't even.
Hands down, the best. Whatever he comes up with.
Oh man, dude. Yeah. You got anything, Zacchaeus, you want to add in there? You got anything you wanna tell us?
Nah, man. Sorry, I'm crashing.
Nah, you're good, man. Hey, that's what happens. You miss the playoffs sometimes, guys. Just want to let you know. You know, if you miss the playoffs, it does have that effect on you guys. Sometimes you'll get depressed.
You just lose brain cells.
You start
Like,
taking,
you're done.
you get depressed. You know, sometimes your life can go downhill, guys. So just take it seriously. You know what I mean? No, but
Yeah, and if you win, you'd be like me.
sponsorships,
Brand
deals,
sponsorships.
Hold on. I have an Umbreon terrarium. Can I just change my name real quick and I'll take a picture of it?
be the mini Umbreons, the only Umbreons. Y'all can just take my name.
You gotta think of a cool name right off the spot though, if you want to change it.
Yeah.
What's it gonna
It still won't be the Mighty Psyducks because, you know.
be? Yeah, you can't be mini Umbreons. What's your team name gonna be?
The only Umbreons. The Umbreon, I don't even know. Dude, some of the names I came up with the Mighty Psyducks for Gilbert. There was a team name, dude, that we had. It was called the Clefairy Odd Parents. That one to me, and that dude dropped out after like a week. That was like one of the sickest team names I had came up with, like on the spot, dude. I was like just randomly giving him names.
It's not like you can like take it either because someone's already.
Yeah, dude, and I was like, man, that was one of those that if I hadn't thought of only Don fans, I was like, I'm gonna go. Now we've had some other fight like D, an old player, like he came out the Miami Heat trends. I thought that one was pretty dope. Like I was like, damn, that was pretty badass. Like now we've had some.
I can't.
No, we've had some pretty good ones. I'll be honest. Like, I don't know. And then we've had some weird ones like our boy Juan. You know, he was the what was he? He was the Pikachu's, like just some random ass shit. Like, all right, Juan, go ahead. My brother, when he entered in season 1, he was the Toronto Star Raptors. Like, you know, we've had some pretty interesting ones. But no, so that'll just about wrap it up. Like I say, it's long with these main podcast portions. For those listening, anybody that's still in it, it's for the consumption, right? It's really not going to be much of anything visually. It's just for you guys to kind of listen, consume it however you want. And just we hope to kind of bring stuff like this, just kind of sit down and talk. Just, you know, like I said, the more serious stuff will be in the division breakdowns and kind of the technicalities and stuff. But we do want to get you guys on, majority of you guys that are in the league throughout the season. If you do good, I mean, we only have winners on here, bro. We only have winners on here and wild card. All right.
You beat me to it.
For these guys throwing. All right, that's just gonna be the running joke this season. All right. I'm about to put in parentheses.
Umbreons?
The what? Zacchaeus is
Lucid
Zacchaeus.
Umbreon.
He's still thinking of the name.
Yeah, he's still going. He's still like, he's gonna message me in the middle of the night and be like, "No,
I got it.
Lucid Umbreon.
Oh my good. I don't know. Like, get a picture of like Mudkip on top of he's just chilling. I don't know, sleeping on an Umbreon or something. I don't even know, but it's gotta be shiny Umbreon. Like shiny Umbreon's goated. But no, I really want to thank you guys though. Obviously Gilbert will be on here regularly, moving this along with me, helping me out. But Chino and Zacchaeus, thank you guys a lot taking time. Like I said before we put it on or whatever the hell, I was hoping this would be a 30-minute video, and now we're running on an hour and 30 minutes. So I know I'm taking you guys' time. Sorry about that, but that's the beauty of it. I really do feel, as I drag this on even more, but I really do feel that, even just on here, right, we didn't have anything really planned. I mean, we literally are just winging it, if you guys can't tell, and just kind of just talking. But that's kind of the hopes of what we have, right? It's like this community, like, I feel we all feel like I guess if you guys hear, like, you guys would probably think we've known each other for 5, 6, 7 years, whereas Gilbert and I have known each other for that long. But I feel like when we get in here, like, I knew I could talk with Chino, right? Cool dude. I knew I could talk with Zacchaeus. I've done it, numerous times. Like, just the sense of, like, we all have the same hobby, right? We all have the same passion as far as, like, we like to play Pokemon. We have something in common that we all enjoy. And so that's kind of also what I hope for this league to bring, as well as the violence. Like, I hope you guys obviously, whoop up on each other and beat each other and do all that good stuff. But
Chino.
yeah, knocking people out of the playoffs, and so Chino and Zacchaeus, I'll go ahead and let you guys give your final thoughts, final words, and then we'll sign out here.
Yeah, I'd appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to draft day where I'll reveal the first overall pick.
Double Coco.
It's definitely
see.
Tapu Lele. He shut me down super hard.
Nah, you guys can think about that.
We're gonna put odds out. We're gonna put Vegas odds out. What about you, Zacchaeus?
No, just good luck to everybody in the season. I hope you all have a great time and are ready to be beaten down by me and Chino. I am calling it. That's the final.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. All right, guys. So thank you. That's the season 5 week, 0 pre-draft week episode. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys keep tuning in. Love you. Bye.
I'll catch you all later.